everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. We are finishing up season 11 and we're going to do it with a bang. We've had the best time this year celebrating Southern ingredients and Southern techniques. We've done everything from pecans, bacon, apples, sweet potatoes, peanut butter, sausage, potato chips, but we can't end this season without celebrating the Georgia peach. And my special guest today is Lanier Pearson from Pearson Farm in Fort Valley. She certainly is the authority of a farm that's been in business for 5 generations. She's going to give you a little bit more about the history of the farm. We've actually talked about this farm all season, so you're going to get to meet her and learn a little bit more about it. We're going to do 3 great recipes. We're going to start with a peach bread that's a quick bread. It's going to make you want to make this all year long. We're going to do peach crumb bars that are a bite-sized little dessert that'll be perfect for your picnics this summer. And then a grilled peach salad that's a recipe in my new cookbook. In Vera's Corner today, we're going to talk about using your flowers that are in your yard and your greenery to make your own arrangements for entertaining during the summertime. So we've got a lot to do. Let's get inside and meet Lanier. All right, so I am so excited to introduce all of you to Lanier Pearson from Fort Valley, Pearson Farm. And you know, you don't realize it, but I feel like I already know you because we've worked together this entire season.
That's right. From
pecans and now the peaches. And certainly I'm just so thrilled that you're here today and we've got so much to talk about. I want to start by you giving us a little bit of background about the actual farm.
Sure. So our farm has been in business for 135 years, started in 1885. So a really long time. We actually are the oldest peach farm in Georgia now.
Really?
So, and my husband is the 5th generation. So he and his dad, the 4th generation, are now farming together. So.
And you married into the family.
That's right.
So did you ever think that you were going to be a farmer's wife?
No, I did not. I did not grow up on a peach farm, knew nothing about peach farming, and am still learning a lot about it. So almost 20 years of marriage now, I feel like it's part of me.
Oh, absolutely, and I feel that way too. Well, your mother-in-law is very involved and has had a lot to do. You know, just beginning of the season, we talked about the history of the strong women behind this brand, and certainly she's one of those women.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about her involvement and how she kind of branched the company out.
Yeah, so in 1996, because the Olympics were going to be in Atlanta, they decided to open a store right on the I-75, hoping to catch some of that Olympic traffic. And so from there, we continued to have a retail store, but she also started our online business. So we began shipping pecans, peaches, and baked goods, and she created something called Mary's Kitchen, where we do cakes and pecan pies and all kinds of treats.
And you know, when we began this discussion a year ago about the partnership, there were so many similarities. You know, just the fact that Mary's Kitchen and the mail order part and the recipes to incorporate, you know, maybe the peach that's about to go out of, you know, date to make it into a product that you could sell. I just thought it was so interesting. Another interesting part of the farm is the Lee Pope house. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the Lee Pope house is owned by my husband's aunt now, but it was originally built by the 2nd generation. Everybody calls him Papa John, and it's a beautiful 2-story old farmhouse that has been renovated and we now use for farm events and things like that.
Oh, it's such a cool looking house too. It's very reminiscent. All right, so farmers markets and grocery stores and things like that are your primary retail spaces.
That's right, that's right. Most of our crop typically goes to grocery stores all over the United States. We also have a presence in lots of local farmers markets, particularly around the Atlanta area. But we love to ship peaches directly to our customers. So PearsonFarm.com is where you can do that.
Well, and you know, that for me, the packaging is always such an important part. You know, it's that first visual of the introduction to the company. That's so in place. And then also the fact that everything arrives in good condition. So it can't just be a box. It's got to be a box that's constructed to make sure that the product is going to arrive safely. So one of the things that we did together this year that was a lot of fun is that we always try to incorporate a gift to our clients that come to Augusta for the golf tournament, something to kind of introduce them to what our menu is going to look like for the tournament. And we thought it would be amazing to do a beverage that involved peaches, and we created a recipe that used your peach preserves in it. And we had so many wonderful comments about it, just loved it. And you know, today we were actually going to be at the farm to film. So this is the part that I think I love more than anything, is you decided to bring your customers into what happened at your farm this spring.
Yeah, so this spring we had 2 late frost, which is actually a typical occurrence, but that combined with a warm winter and several other, you know, weather variables caused us to lose over 90% of the peach crop. So 1955 was actually the last time that the loss was this significant. And it's something that my husband and I have never walked through, so it's been quite an eye-opening, and you always know that this possibility exists, but to walk through it is really, it's been bittersweet. It's bitter because we don't have a lot of peaches. It's sweet because we have been given some, and so we want to steward those well, get them to our customers if we can, and early on we decided we're just going to tell them what happened.
Well, and I applaud you for that, and certainly I feel like our viewers are going to pay more attention to that part. It makes you real. So when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on a peach bread, quick bread that I think you're going to really like, and learn more about this wonderful family business. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, my special guest today is Lanier Pearson from Pearson Farm in Fort Valley, Georgia. And it just smells like peaches in here.
I know, it does.
I mean, you start, even before they're cut, they're just so fragrant. I love it. So we're going to do a quick bread today, and you are certainly familiar with quick breads. But the thing I love about this is that it's something you can do. You know, the reason it's called quick bread because it comes together very quickly. But there are a few techniques about not over mixing that I think are important. So dry and wet, I decided I would let you do the dry today. So we've already got your flour in the bowl. So we're going to add the sugar, the baking powder. And don't you love it when somebody's already measured out 100
I wish I could cook like this every
this would be amazing. Okay, salt. And then we put the cinnamon and the nutmeg together. So you're just going to whisk that. And you see we've got kind of a large bowl here, but it's because we're going to add other things to it and we don't want it to get sloppy. And I'm sure you're never sloppy. All right, so I've got my oil in my measuring cup. I'm going to add in my 2 eggs. And then we've got buttermilk. And you know, that's one of the southern ingredients I've been using this season. And I don't know about in your family, but my mother used to actually drink buttermilk.
My grandfather loved buttermilk and drank it all the time.
I love it in baking, but I don't know that I could actually drink it.
No,
all right, then I've got vanilla. And I'm just gonna mix this. And if you'll make a little well with your spatula over there, then you can work from the well.
Kind of like that, like a little hole in there?
Absolutely. You don't even have to come to cooking camp this summer.
I need to come to cooking camp this summer.
Oh man, and our camp will be 20 years old this summer. We're so excited about it. All right, so you're just gonna mix that together, and again, it's just one of those things where you want to not over mix. So that is just perfect. Y'all pay attention to Lanier because she obviously knows. Your mother-in-law would be so proud of you right this minute.
She would be proud because.
Okay, so now that's probably good enough to go on to the next step, which is the diced peaches and pecans. So we're using both of your products
peaches
today.
And pecans.
Absolutely. So we're going to fold those together.
Okay.
And while you're folding that, needless to say, this has probably been around as long as your farm, like 1800.
Probably.
I mean, you know, you just can't get any better than a seasoned pan. But we have sprayed it, and we have preheated the oven to 350, and this takes basically a little over an hour to cook, and it's going to have the prettiest crown. So I'm going to actually put it in the bowl, and I'm going to allow you to tell us a little bit more about how the farm operates.
Sure. So peaches and pecans are done very differently. Peaches are all hand done. So they're planted by hand, they're thinned by hand, they're pruned by hand, and they are picked by hand. So it takes a huge labor force to pick all of those peaches every summer. So,
And do y'all have a lot of the same people that come back every year to help you do that?
we do. We have guys that have been coming, gosh, 15, 20 years.
Wow, so they're really part of your family.
They are.
All right, so this is going to go into the preheated oven. I can't wait for y'all to see what it looks like when it comes out. And when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on a peach crumb bar that is really very, very different from this and so delicious. And in Vera's Corner today, we're going to talk about all those nice flowers that are blooming in your yard and the greenery that goes with it, and how you can make your own flower arrangement. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. This time of year, I love to bring the outdoors indoors by collecting some of the flowers and greenery in my yard to make my own flower arrangements. Let me give you a few tips on how you can do that too. When selecting flowers from your yard or from the store, choose flowers with a variety of color and size. Start with a vase with clean water to keep your arrangement alive and vibrant. If your flowers came with flower food, add that to the water. Sometimes it helps to create a grid of cellophane tape across the top of your vessel to hold your flowers in place, especially if the stems don't reach the bottom of the vessel. Cut stems at a 45-degree angle before you arrange to keep them fresh for as long as possible. Start with your heavier flowers and spread them evenly around. Then fill in with smaller flowers and greenery. As you add, remove unnecessary leaves and buds, especially those that would be below the water level. Don't be afraid to use things other than flowers. Try greenery cut from your yard, branches, and I've even used vegetables on the show before. Finally, look at your arrangement from all angles to make sure it's even and tweak if necessary. Try your hand at making your own flower arrangement. Start free today at taxslayer.com. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, I'm with Lanier Pearson of Pearson Farm in Fort Valley, Georgia. And you know, Lanier, I used to say years ago that if you didn't have flowers or greenery in your yard, you could go to your neighbor's yard.
I go to my mother-in-law's
Oh,
yard.
okay, well that's awesome. But you know, this time of year, most people have at least some greenery in their yard, and you can do a flower arrangement out of nothing but that. But hopefully you'll take advantage of some of those tips. All right, so these are the peach crumb bars.
Okay.
Really great little bite-sized snack if you're going to a family reunion or maybe want to take something to the beach with you for everybody to snack on. So I've gone ahead and done the crust. So this is basically sugar, flour, baking powder, salt, and cinnamon that I mixed together. And then you want to cube the butter and get it into the refrigerator, get it really good cold. I mean, it is hard. And then I used a pastry blender to kind of, you know, just separate that butter and get it incorporated into the dry mixture. Then you're going to add a beaten egg and just mix that together. It won't come together like dough, but it will easily press into the pan. You're going to use about 3/4 of that into the pan, and I sprayed the pan with my pan spray, and then you just flatten it out. And at this point, you know, the home ec teacher in me thinks that I'm going to bake this for a few minutes before I put a filling, but it actually, that's why it's like a crumb bar. It's going to be a really moist part of the recipe. So now I'm going to let you be dry ingredient girl again.
All right.
So you're going to combine your sugar, cornstarch, and cinnamon. And then I'm going to pour the lemon juice over these amazing peaches. And like I said, the aromas in here are just
Smells
really
like peach season.
it certainly does. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna move this forward, and I'm gonna now let you incorporate all of that.
Just pour this right on top. Okay.
And mix all of that together. Then we're gonna get that into that pan. And the thing about this recipe is, you know, that it's the crumb part of it, again, is really different. It's not like shortbread, it's really good. So now you're just gonna basically pour all of that and spread it over the top.
All right.
Yes. Ooh, wait, that looks
Oh, it
so
looks so
good.
good.
And those are just the right size. And this, actually, these, I would probably cut into like 1-inch squares. You know, or you could do a larger piece and serve it warm with a little vanilla ice cream on top. All right, so this is where we both get our hands dirty.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll set that kind of over to the side. And this, again, is not gonna come together, you know, like you might think, but all we're doing is just kind of mashing, and then we're putting these blobs of this on the top.
On top.
And then what's left, we're gonna just sprinkle over the top. So
Kinda
while
like
we're kind of doing this, let's learn a little bit more about your farm and what goes on there.
Sure. So in the summer, obviously we have peaches from about mid-May to mid-August. And so, you know, we kind of talked about what happens in the orchard, but after they're picked, they come into our packing shed.
Yes.
And so that's where they're put into an array of different compartments. We have boxes, we pack in trays, we pack in bags, basically whatever the grocery store tells us to do. So, and we also, in that packing shed, we have a little retail store.
Oh, cool.
So where you can come and get peach ice cream and peaches and that sort of thing.
Oh,
So,
man. Well, you know, I can't wait to come.
yeah, we
You
can't
know,
wait to
I
have you.
cannot wait to be there, and certainly we're going to throw this in a 350-degree oven and let this cook. And when we come back, we're going to lay it all out so you can see what all we put together and learn a little bit more about Pearson Farm. So see you back in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. Lanier, I've just had the best time today.
I have had the best time too. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, absolutely. It's our pleasure. And, you know, with these sorts of ingredients, and for us to do our season finale with peaches is just the cream of the crop for the state of Georgia. So I'm really proud of your family and your family business. So we've had a lot of fun today. We started with the peach quick bread that, as you can see, just slices up beautifully. It's great for a brunch. You know, it's great to just have in the house when the kids come home from school, just a quick snack. You could put a little bit of icing on it if you want to, but it's just the perfect consistency. And I recommend just wrapping that in aluminum foil. Whenever I do that sort of thing, I like to make more than one. You can give one as a gift. You can put one in the freezer. That does freeze really well. And then the peach crumb bar. And remember,
so
I
good.
said you can cut them into 1-inch squares, but it's also awesome to do as a big old square. And then you can do a drizzle, which we made this ahead. This was softened cream cheese, confectioner's sugar, a little bit of milk, and vanilla extract. So that's a great way to serve it, or like I said, warm with a scoop of vanilla ice cream would be amazing on that. And then finally, we did the grilled peach salad, and you know, just grilling those peaches on top of the stove with a, you know, we use a Lodge grill that kind of goes over both of the eyes, but you could actually do it outside on the grill. Would be great too. Put some mixed greens down, some sectioned grapefruit, avocado, and then I made the Parmesan crisp. I'm gonna let you try your hand at that. That's just a 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese on top of a cookie sheet, spraying it with the pan spray, and then just putting it in the oven until it's nice and crisp. And then let me tell you about the tomato vinaigrette dressing that we've made. I'm going to let you add some of that as well. But this is an old family recipe. It uses Heinz chili sauce, oil, apple cider vinegar, sugar, grated onion, salt, pepper, and paprika. And this will last in the refrigerator for quite a while. So you'll find that it's really good on lots of things, even a grilled chicken breast with some of that on there. I certainly want to thank you again, Lanier, for joining us, and for Pearson Farm for this partnership. And if you want peaches like this on your table, where do they go to get them?
They go to pearsonfarm.com.
Absolutely. And you know, we have ended this season on a very high note. We certainly want you to watch all of our re-shows over the summer. But for season 12, we're going to be welcoming at least 2 new markets, Birmingham and Nashville. So look out, the VeryVera show is coming. And you know, I always say on the VeryVera show, no matter what you do,
Do it in good taste.
come back and join us next week.